So we're going to continue with working on the pages. So I've pretty much set everything out. Like I told you, it's quite hard because I only have one paper pack to work with. So this is that little pockety thing that we made earlier, which I've got some ideas with. So I've cut a piece of the brown sugar cardstock, and I had originally was going to leave it at 12 inches, but I decided to cut it down to 9. So I'm just going to cut 3 inches off one side. Okay, so I've cut it to 9 inches by 5 3/4 inches, I think. Yeah, by 5 3/4, because this is going to fit kind of like that. And then we are going to score at 2 1/4 inches and 2 3/4 inches. Okay, so we're making a 1/2 inch score in the middle. Okay, and that's it for now. We're going to fold this over, and we're going to fold on that. Alrighty, so basically what's going to happen now is I'm going to stick this onto here to create a top loading pocket. So you will have this opening up, and you will have a top loading pocket as well. So we're just going to use the thin tape. These are definitely not Tim Holtz scissors. Oh my goodness, they are shocking. Let's try and see if I can find a pair of the red ones somewhere. Another pair. Seems that tape is now history, so it hasn't gone right to the top. I'll have to get a new one, which thankfully I have, and just add it at the top. Otherwise we're going to have a little issue there. It's not going to seal properly. Okay, so that is going onto here. Okay, just making sure I've got everything the right way. And you should have about around about 1/8 of an inch all the way around, maybe a little bit more at the top. I would do the slightly bigger gap at the top because that is where you have your opening. If that makes sense. Okay, then what I want you to do is on this 1 inch piece, you're going to grab your 1/2 inch, sorry, on the 1/2 inch piece, you're going to grab your 1/2 inch tape, and you're going to tape it on the right side. Okay, so it's going to sit like so. And I'm thinking of putting it down here. I'm also wondering whether I want a little bit of the hibiscus and frangipani paper underneath it, just to add a bit of zhuzh. Haven't quite got that far yet, but I'm thinking that it would look rather nice. And I do have some available. I don't have much paper left, but I do have some. So let's add a piece. This is 5 3/4 wide by 6. So I'm going to cut a 5 3/4 inch strip. In fact, I'm going to cut a 6 inch strip. Okay, so this is DBV 32093, and I'm going to cut that by 5 3/4. Sorry, by 6 1/4. I'm just cutting it by 5 3/4 because I don't want to put the thing out. Okay, so it should create. I've cut it too short. That's not clever. Okay. We could also have a little piece sticking out. Boer maak 'n plan, né? Okay, before I stick that down, what I want to do here is I want to create another little pocket. So this little pocket is going to be inside. So what I suggest you do is you pick up your circle punch. I have got, I think I'm going to use the 1 1/4 inch circle. We're going to measure sort of halfway. So I've just put mine on the 1/8 and the 5 7/8 here. So the 3 is now my center, and I'm going to kind of eyeball it just to get before I do that, let me cut a piece because I'll never get it to fit otherwise. Oh, there go the dogs. 2 1/4. You just double check this measurement. 2 1/8 would be more than enough. Okay, so we could take that. Oh my goodness, so many dogs barking. I'm just going to pause the video. Okay, so we got rid of that barking, and while that was on, I was just fixing this up. So I'm going to pop this inside, and I'm just going to stick this down. So I could have punched the hole and stuff. I mean, to try and line it up is just a nightmare. Oh, I think I put that upside down. Oh well, the flowers are going all different ways, so it doesn't really matter. And then the little piece that I had that was an offcut, I'm just going to pop in there between the score lines. Right, now hopefully it's not too thick, and I'm going to punch out a little piece. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this. This is getting complicated, isn't it? Might have it just too long, so I'm going to literally cut a smidgen off. It's 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 of an inch, and just so it doesn't interfere with that other fold, I'm going to cut this off. Okay, turning over, and with our thin tape that's sitting right in front of me, I'm going to create another pocket. Okay, so right next to this, it's on the other side of the score line. I'm going to create another simple pocket. So it's not going to look like a lot now, but there's going to be loads of place for pockets and for tags and for journaling and stuff. Okay, So that is going to be lined up right there, like so. Just pull back. And I've got this right side up, just making sure I put it in the right place, yeah. And I'm lining it up with the edge, this side. This side is where my pocket is going to go. I think I moved it ever so slightly. Just straighten it out. Oh, this piece of paper is so crooked. Not too sure why, so I'm just going to put this on and try and just trim off that little crooked bits. There. So I'm only cutting the cardstock where it's just a little bit off. Okay, so when we open it now, just like so, we have another pocket here, and we've got a place for a photo. Right, then because I cut this a little bit short, I thought I'd measured this to 6 1/4, which I clearly hadn't, because I should have cut it to 6 1/2 if I wanted it to matte. But a boer maak 'n plan, né? So we are not going to stick it down all the way, we're going to have it sticking out a little bit. Okay, so let's pop this one down. I'm just going to use this bit of tape to finish it instead of glue. I think the tape finishes, yeah, that's that one finished. Let's get the 1/2 inch again. We want to pop this down. What was my measurement here? Gosh, I'm losing it. 6 1/4 by 6. 6 by 6 1/4. So we want the 6 1/4 side up. Right, we want it somewhere over there. I haven't put glue on because what happens if I don't love this later? So I just wanted a bit of the frangipani sticking out. I love that in scrapbooking you can kind of make an error and then you can work with it and fix it, and like it's no harm done. And we're going to stick this down here. So we've just got this 1/2 inch piece. I'm going to leave a little sticking out, and I'm going to try and do it so that top and bottom are the same. Okay, so we've now got the flap, and then we've got that little pocket, and we've got a space to journal or to add photos, and then we've still got that at the back where we can now mat and we can journal and we can add bits and pieces. So at least we've got a little bit of the frangipani, which is going to line up with this side. Not too sure why that's coming undone, so I'm probably going to have to fix that. But yeah, so that's my inside cover. We need to make some tags. Remember, we've got the tag at the top, and then we have also got the space inside here. Okay.
Rod's pill time.
I now want to get on to creating the frame. So just moving that to the side, and I did take out a piece of, I'm losing it, I tell you I'm losing it. Let me just pause the video. So I had a piece of paper that I took out, and I have no idea where I put it. Anyway, it doesn't matter, no harm done. We're going to use this. Whoa, the wind has all of a sudden come up. And I'm just going to cut some of this. I'm going to stick, using my 3/4 inch tape, I'm going to stick this down, the frame down. And I've done a frangipani side up. I can't remember whether I'm losing it, definitely losing it. Right, I'm going to stick this down. I think I had it that the wood side was up, but actually I like the frangipanis. So I'm going to line it up, so I have to do as few cuts as possible. Gosh. Okay. If I had loads of paper at my disposal, I probably would have covered this, but I don't, so I'm just doing what I can with what I've got. You could also use, if you've got some thick foam tape, you could also use foam tape in place of this. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. And now I'm going to cut inside. Got a bit of glue on here, double-sided tape from earlier. So it's a really crude frame. It's not like a fancily covered frame. Okay, so cut. I've scored it And the only thing I find is that the corners don't score nicely or cut nicely, so you have to kind of go back and just cut into the corner. And there's my frame. So we're going to do the same with this frame for the back. Right, and that's going to go in there like so and be added to my page. I'm not 100% sure yet whether I'm going to make this so that it is interchangeable, photos are interchangeable, which is really easy to do, so I probably should just do it. And the way we're going to do that is we're just going to add some acetate, and then we're going to just have some thin foam tape to raise it, and we can have this stuck down. So let me just get the acetate. Alright, I've got the acetate, so let's just glue this down, and I'm thinking I'm going to glue it with this this is by far my favorite glue. It gives kind of an instant stick. It does dry super quickly though, that's the only problem. Got a little bit of time with the acetate obviously. Okay, so there's my very basic frame. I'm just cutting around the outside. And then I'm going to grab, my tape, which is just 1 millimeter thick. And working on the back. I'm going to put it right along the edge. Can't see it there. Let's just do it at the bottom one here first. So now we can add our, I've got all the bits ready to go into the pages underneath here. I hope I don't need extra magnets. I'm just going to stick a bit of tape on this. And I'm going to position this. I'm not putting heaps of tape on. I can't see the point really. And if it's a little bit off, it doesn't really matter, you know. So it's going to fit in one side better than the other. Okay, so that is going there. It's going to be reversed. Okay, it's not going to work. I'm just going to stick it in the middle. If not, why not? Right, now I'm going to come in with my frame. And we're just going to add it over the top carefully so that you don't see too much of the other stuff, because that's kind of the backdrop. And there's our frame, very simple, and we've added like dimension, whatever. Let's see, will this close? Yeah, it's still closing. So rather nice, it still closes. Okay, let's just move this camera. Sorry, I moved it earlier. There we go, that's better. Alright, so we've got the little bit of frangipani and the wave, and we've got the wave and the frangipani again here, so that ties in, and then we're ready to work on page 1. So I think I'm going to start a new video because this is already 25 minutes, which includes the dog barking and everything else.